Hello, my friends. How are you doing today? As usual, I'm doing fabulous. I hope you're doing fabulous as well. And in today's video, I want to talk a little bit about the power of the subconscious mind and why we want to use it and why we benefit from tapping into it. So, are you ready to go? Well, let's roll the intro and let's crack on. Before we begin in earnest today, I really just wanted to start off by talking about what the subconscious mind actually is. So, in essence, it's the part of the mind that is not currently the point of focal awareness. And in scientific literature, sometimes you'll see the word subconscious mind, you'll see the term unconscious mind, and you may think that those are the same exact thing. And they are similar concepts, but they do have a few key differences. So when we talk about something as being subconscious, what we're talking about that part of the mind that is not conscious to us at the time, or that we're generally pretty unaware of. And this can be emblematic of memories of things that we've seen or heard, and it can be emblematic of patterns of behavior or habit. And when we say unconscious mind, if you hear the term unconscious mind, what we're really talking about are things that cannot be actively recalled by the conscious mind. They're kind of untouchable. And these things might include taboos, instincts, or even traumas. So, in essence, the idea is that we can recall things from the subconscious mind when we choose to, but we cannot recall things from the unconscious mind. So there is a really key difference there. Of course, this also brings to mind the fact that science does not really have a good handle on what consciousness is really just yet. We do know that it's formed in the brain. It's probably formed in the cerebral cortex, which is the part of the brain that's crucial for reasoning, for language, and for memory formation. What the point of consciousness is, why we have it, how it developed, and how many other species have it is still hotly debated. So the big question is then, why is the subconscious mind so important to us? And there are several reasons, but to me, the biggest reason is that it represents such a huge part of our brain function. Now, the ratios change depending on what study you look at, but across the board, which generally accepted at this point, is that about 10% of all of our brain function, only 10%, are controlled and directed by the conscious mind, while the other 90%, the vast majority, is controlled by the subconscious or unconscious parts of our mind. And one of the traditional ways you could think about this is kind of like an iceberg. And certainly, if you've seen the movie Titanic, you know what I'm talking about. When we see an iceberg on the ocean, we're only just seeing the tip of a much, much larger entity. It's like a whole mountain underwater. And the very same thing can be said for our minds. The vast majority of our brain functions are actually happening beneath the surface in our unconscious or subconscious minds. The other reason that the subconscious mind is so important to us is because it's really the part of the mind that's actually in charge. So back in 2015, Dr. Ezekiel Marcella, he's from San Francisco State University, published a paper. And what the research was about was looking into what consciousness actually is. And what he and his colleagues found was that the conscious mind actually isn't really doing very much at all. And he and the colleagues, they came up with this theory. It's called passive frame theory, which essentially states that nearly all processing done in the brain happens in different regions and different lobes. And once all of the information is processed and a decision or a choice needs to be made, only then does it really get passed up to the conscious mind, who then really takes credit for just making the decisions. But in reality, almost all of the work and all of the processing is done within the subconscious mind. So, what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that the subconscious mind wields a huge amount of power in our lives. So, the big question to me is, why don't we actively work on influencing our subconscious minds more than we do? if we really truly, let's say, want to change direction in our lives or do something different and meaningful, doesn't it seem to actually just make sense to tap into this vast power that is our subconscious mind? And if we can get our subconscious mind to accept suggestions, whether that be through mantras or affirmations or hypnosis in my case, can't that affect us in really significant ways? And of course, I would argue yes. And in my experience, working with the subconscious mind can have super, really beneficial effects. What I found time and again is that the key to working with our subconscious mind and making really big changes is repetition, repetition, repetition. It's just like when we're in school and we're actively trying to learn something. Let's say we're in foreign language class. What do? We repeat, repeat, repeat. So it's the same thing in the conscious mind as it is with the subconscious mind. You know, we pick up on behaviors, we pick up on habits, we pick up on beliefs by repeating them over and over and over again until they're almost like reflexes. They become quite automatic. And I see this so much in my clients who are telling themselves harmful or at least unhelpful stories. I know so many people in my life and in my clients who don't even try to reach for better things in their lives because they've programmed themselves with these stories or beliefs. And key amongst them are ones, their key phrases like, I'm not enough, I don't deserve it, things never work out for me, I have terrible coping skills, I'm not worthy, or I'm just lazy. On a day to day basis, people may not actually be thinking these thoughts or these beliefs in their conscious mind. But when you dive below the surface in a hypnotherapy session, for instance, they tend to come up a lot, which is why I like to mention it here. Now, what these beliefs do, these I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm lazy, what these beliefs do is influence and direct how your conscious mind navigates through the world, especially through your decision making. Let's say, for instance, this is my example. Let's say you are eligible for a promotion at work. Okay. You may do excellent work. You may have no absences. You may be perfectly qualified and you may actually consciously really want that promotion. But if deep in your subconscious programming you have I'm not worthy or I'm not enough back there, trust me, your brilliant mind will find new and interesting ways of making sure that you do not get promoted. And one of the best ways to overcome this sort of programming is to really focus on understanding what the programming is or what the blockages are, which can be done really, really well through hypnotherapy. And once you know that the programming exists, you can actually start working on replacing it with new patterns of thought through repetition. So when I have an appointment with a hypnosis client, every single time I make them a custom recording and I instruct them to listen to it at least 21 times, once a day, 21 days in a row. Now, there's nothing magical to 21 days, truly. It isn't like 21 is some amazing, magical, wonderful number, at which case everything is fixed. The goal is to build up a new habit of taking the time to listen to the recording so that the new messages, the new programming can really get absorbed and processed by the subconscious mind. Similarly, I find that posting messages around your home or in your car can be really, really useful. And the funny thing is, you don't even really need to actively read them. Just noticing they're there can really do the trick. You really just want your eye to catch them from time to time. So, for instance, in your home, if you want to try it, think about places in your home that you interact with every single day. So, ideas might be your bathroom mirror, the refrigerator door, the steering wheel in your car, or the TV remote. These are all things that we probably interact with every single day. And what you could do is you could write down some positive messages and you could actually tape them to those surfaces. And those little reminders, they won't seem to do too much at first, but over time, what they'll do is help reprogram your subconscious mind. And you will start to actually turn these little notes, these little thoughts into a new programming, into a new belief system in you. And anyway, thank you so much for watching today's video. Feel free to comment below about how you work with your subconscious mind. I love hearing about this stuff. Please like the video, consider subscribing as well. It really helps me with the algorithm. And before you go today, I just want you to take a moment right now, in this moment, to know that you are loved, you are strong, and you are powerful.